You mentioned your nan. Can you tell me about her
Yeah.
and the way she affected your life?
So, I mean, my nan, she looked after me no end when I was young. Obviously, being a very troublesome child, expelled from primary school, always sent home from school at all ages, always in trouble with the police. Mum and dad always picking me up from the police station most weekends. And it was always my nan. She was the only person, and I think perhaps a lot of people could say this, I would talk back to my parents, even a young boy, mum and dad would tell me off, like, fuck off. 5, 6 years old, I was a right horrible little bastard. And the same with the teachers. I just didn't care. I don't know what it was about me. I just had this sort of really bad attitude to sort of learning at school and growing up. I just wanted to be a grown up. I wanted to be a free spirit, But I never once rebelled or talked back or disrespected my nan, because I don't know what it is. She just knew how to talk to me and calm me down and talk sense into me. And she's the one who, kept me on that educational path. And she almost educated me herself. Kept me straight and narrow. Always gave me advice, and it was always solid advice. So I suppose my nan, in that respect, was more mother to me than my actual mum was. She was I saw her more as a mother than my actual mum, because I suppose that's kind of like the right and wrong thing to say. Treated my nan like my mum.
Right.
Like I should have treated my mum. Is probably the right thing to say.
Right.
And when she got diagnosed with cancer, that obviously was a very bad point in my life, and that was all during the depression period. And she inspired me a lot. She would always talk to me about my dreams. She was always the one that was never negative. She would never say, you can't do this or you can't do that. She was always my biggest supporter. And sorry, I get a bit welled up here.
Yeah, it's okay.
And it was it was on my nan's deathbed that when my nan died, I was the only one there in the hospital. Sorry, it's a tough thing to talk about.
Yeah, I understand. I appreciate you talking about it.
And as I say, it was she was the only person I could talk to about my dreams, and I would never get anything negative back. She always believed in me. Come on, Ed. And on her deathbed, when she died, I was the only one there. And when they put you in a room with the deceased, and you can have your private time with them. I just remember talking to my nan for hours on end about my life, about these about my dreams, about my aspirations. And the strongman came up. It was, a few months after I did the strongman contest and said I was going to win the world's strongest man. And I made the promise to my nan on a deathbed that I would win the world's strongest man one day. Which I think is why I took it so seriously, going forward in life. It was a promise that I couldn't break, you know, because if I never achieved it, then I'm letting her down.
Right. Right.
I'm letting her down, not just myself. And that's one of the main things that kept me going through all the hard times, all the mental health. Was I knew my nan was always up there watching over me, pushing me forward, watching everything I was doing. All those training sessions, all that sacrifice, all those hundreds of hours of work I put in to pay for the strongman. Yeah, so...
Was she with you in those training
Oh,
sessions?
definitely.
Talk to her, you feel her there?
I remember, the day she died, I was there 2 minutes. I arrived, she was alive. I arrived, I was talking to her. Within 2 minutes, her heart stopped beating. So it was almost as if she waited for me to get to the hospital and get by her bedside before she actually went. And then I told her these, my aspirations, my dreams about the world's strongest man. And then my mum came and sort of, I said, right, I'm going to go. I'm going to leave you to have your privacy with your mum, And I went straight to the gym. And that's when the training started, in effect. That's when the world's strongest man was like, it wasn't penciled in my ambitions in life, it was pending.
Right.
It had to happen. So that's when my training stepped up. That's when the meals got bigger. That's when the stretching came in. That's when everything got serious from that point, So
Because you owed it to her.
yeah.
And that was you thanking her for being there for you your whole life.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because without Nanan, none of this stuff happens, right? Probably not.
None of it. None of it. If it wasn't for my nan, I wouldn't have been the swimmer. I wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have done the half ton. I wouldn't have won the worlds. None of that would have happened if it had not been for my nan's sort of impact on my life.
Thank God for grandmas, huh? You got me crying now, Eddie. Wow. And so she was there through all of those times when otherwise you might have quit, or those times when you're making all of those sacrifices.
Yeah, when it got tough, and it did get hard, she was always one that sprung to the front of my mind, and kept me pushing forward. And it did get tough over the years. I've dedicated more than like the best years of my life to strongman, obsessively.